Parkland Hills development. They're requesting a zone change from R0 to R1 with the PUD overlay, with the preliminary, requesting a preliminary plan approval. So I'll allow them to come up and show us what's new about their project since the work session, what they've done since then, so that we can all hear what's new about this project.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the Planning Commission, good evening. Thanks for having us. Mark Graddison, Graddison Land Development. With me from my office is Adam Mears and Brian Graddison, and then also our engineer, Nick Selhorst from Choice One, and then Sean Bullock and Paul Coors from Ryan Homes is here as well. So we can answer questions as you may have any, whether after our presentation or front door groups, but we'll be here to help do that. I will keep it really concise on the front end. We've been here multiple times. You've heard the dog and pony show, so to speak, and we do thank you for the work session a few weeks ago. We thought that was very helpful for everybody to be able to so we could hear and have that information exchange. Out of that meeting, we had kind of four main items to work on. The first one was a request to move the townhomes further off of Carolina Trace, and I'll show you a couple of different things, but I'll zoom in maybe. Just that up. With the plan, you can see here, we've moved it off. They were pretty close to where these mounds were, and we've moved them back roughly to where the measuring from the nearest point to the existing roadway. They're both sides are. One side's, the right side's 94 feet and the left side, actually I'm backwards on that. Right side is 94 feet and the left side is 99 feet off of the existing road system that is there in place today. We didn't show it here, but with these moved back, we'll continue some landscape up this throat here, if you will, as you come in to help soften as well as we come in that area.
So I don't want to interrupt you too often, but did that change the number of townhomes?
No, so what we did is we modified deeper in, and we had some parking in this location before, and we moved that over, if I remember correctly, Nick. And then we just and the cul-de-sac turned into kind of more of a where we added parking to here, and flipped the bulb, so to speak, on the cul-de-sac in order to make that work a little bit better for us.
Okay. I didn't know if there was addition, subtraction.
Yes. Even straight across there did not change the quantities in that location. One of the other items that was requested was adding the path on the south side of West Crane Street here. So that then gives us walkability from inside the neighborhood to get onto the path, and one day hopefully be able to continue down to the corner as right-of-way is secured there. There was also, we had a discussion, as you recall, we had a discussion on management of the area from a neighborhood's perspective, and we committed to adding that the neighborhood will be professionally managed, have a professional property manager. We are putting that into the PUD document, which you have a copy of as well. Maybe not a paper copy since I didn't give you that part, but certainly Joette's got it electronically, and I assume has sent it around. So we will have that both in the PUD document, that's our agreement with you as the city, but also in our CCNRs, and our covenants, if you will, so each and every homeowner will know that it's mandated for it to be professionally run. So that way, because covenants are an agreement between developer and the ground owners, the city's not a part of. We added it to the PUD so the city has the ability to enforce. And then the other item that was discussed was the traffic impact study that we revised and have submitted to Joette and to staff. We haven't heard any comments back yet, but it's been a short bit. We wouldn't have expected really to hear anything as of yet. But the main focus and the difference of that study was since we had eliminated the entry across from Walking Fern, we needed to add a left turn lane going north into West Crane Street here which is our west side of our development. And then we have a right turn lane into the villa portion of the development here. This is a lane shift, so it takes the tapers into account based upon the design of the road and the speed of the road. And if we have questions, Nick, I'm sure, can help answer those questions for us. But those were the main changes that we had based upon our work session a few weeks ago. And I think don't really have much else to add, and certainly if there's any questions that you guys have, more than happy to answer them. But we think we have turned this into hopefully a planned unit development that works for the Plan Commission and for the City of Harrison. We've been at this for a long time, as you guys know, and we look forward to your support here and here to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions from the panel?
Sorry. What is has the distance between the townhomes changed at all since they've been reconfigured? Or are
The
they
distance
still?
in between them? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
The buildings? No. Just a reconfiguration of some of where the parking was, and we're able to. Mhm. Yeah, side yards are the same. Not looking for anything different there from a side yard setback requirement.
Any other questions from the panel?
Not at this time.
Okay. So I know the Front Door Project would like to speak, so I'd like to ask them to come up and speak next.
So I just.
To do a little pit stop here, a little change of tires. It's an Indy joke for our friends from Indy. Alrighty. 1 second, if you wouldn't. All right. Needs a bit to catch up. My name's Kip Monroe. I'm with the Front Door Project. I grew up in Harrison on 126 Jefferson Street. Now I live on 10446 Walkingford. Feel very connected to this town. And, you know, I think we're all here to try to help it make it a better place. Tonight I'm joined by Gail Chuck, who's the chairman of the Harrison Tree Board, and she's got some comments she'd like to make that pertain to the issue. And Joellen Zabrowski was instrumental in getting our petition going. I think pretty much everybody's aware that we had a petition around the neighborhood. It got us a chance to get out and go to all the events. I got to see the Porsche show. It was really exciting to kind of go to the food truck rally. So we really heard firsthand this summer kind of the way people feel about not only this development, but development in general. Now I'm curious why I don't have a thing going on here.
The HDMI plug.
I had it on. Do this. We're going to disengage. We're going to try it again. Here it is. Let's just go with this. We're going to see if it moves.
It might be a little soon.
Donald? It looks pretty good.
not sure when you move it if it's gonna stay,
Nope.
but
Keep your mouth the right way.
yeah, it's something here that, cause your screen's doing the same thing, so I'm not really sure.
Screen's staying on.
Well, it's flickering in and out, so I'm not. Yeah, I think, if you wanna try an arrow, that might work better. Yeah, or maybe that cord. Maybe you wanna jiggle that, this one.
Jiggling, we're in the jiggling mode now.
Joette.
For it? All right. Everybody cross their fingers.
Try this clicker, but
It's not the clicker is not the issue, it's the connection. Given the circumstance, I'm wondering if I could bring the laptop up to you guys and we could do a huddle? Does that work? I know it's not ideal, but I can't, Joe and Ed and I talked about coming early to do a tech run through and we didn't, I guess, get that done, so.
well, we actually did. You came 30 minutes and it worked 30 minutes ago, so.
Yeah, well, we didn't, okay. The visuals are really important to this. I don't know really what they say. You mind doing that? Do you mind getting close with one
That's
another?
fine.
I don't, yeah, I don't.
Okay.
Was that one?
Yeah, you do. Come on. Yeah, we're all together.
You got it
I mean,
there.
you can give that, we can
Was
see
the
it.
pouch on that one tied on
I didn't take it out.
top? You'd probably switch.
One of us comes back here and look as we watch as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
So, yeah, apologies to everyone who can't see this. I'll try to, as we go along, give a description of what we're looking at here. We're starting with the title of our presentation, which is Reasons to Not Recommend Oakland Hills. That there's a lot of pressure on you guys to recommend it. This is the third time. I think we're presenting some new points, some new arguments that you haven't heard before, so hopefully that helps our cause. But first of all, I'd like to thank the Planning Commission, give you guys a sincere thank you. It's been over a year doing this. You guys have been working very hard. We've been working very hard. We're all here in this room because we care about Harrison, our town. We care about it. We're passionate about making it a better place. So even though we're on opposite sides of the fence, we kind of have that in common. Miraculously, Andy and I threatened to go out and have a beer at the end of the last meeting, and I hope at some point. So thank you. I apologize for any tonight we're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about the front door project, unresolved concerns that we still have, for part of the presentation. We're going to hear from the Harrison Tree Board. We're going to hear from Gail Chuck and her experience with Gravison working on the tree board. And then we're going to hear from Dolan Zabrowski, who's going to tell us about, she was instrumental in really driving this petition, getting out all summer long, talking to the community, going to events, getting signatures, and she's going to give some details on citizen opposition to this. So, it's a historic decision, obviously, and some people are like, what's the big deal? Why are you doing so much work on this? Who cares? Well, they should care, because this isn't just any parcel of land. This isn't just some farm somewhere. These 90 acres are the front door, everything that's gonna happen over the next 2 or 3 decades coming to Carolina Trace, going out New Haven Road. This really is the crown jewel of the property. And we need to treat it with that kind of reverence and respect. We need to be very diligent about the decisions we make. We've already got a great start here. We've got arguably one of the most beautiful libraries in Hamilton County, right on the corner. We've got a historic red farmhouse. It's got, like it's out of a Norman Rockwell painting, and one of the most popular and beautiful link-style golf courses in the area. And so when you turn that corner, you already got a great start. The table is set for something amazing. We just want to make sure that we get something amazing. I'm going to quote from Hank Menninger a couple times tonight. This is such an amazing opportunity. If we squander it, it's an opportunity lost. This is the gateway to Harrison's future. As this development goes, so goes the area. We need to get it right. So we'll start with the front door project unresolved concerns. And this, make sure, Jerry, I'm gonna make sure you can see it.
Yeah, I got the things from Chuck.
Okay, well, all right. What we've got here, we've got a picture of West Haven. We've got the homes on West Haven. We've seen it, we've used it before, and Adam, you called us out last time, like, this is not the development, this is not the product we're putting in. Well, that's fair. We can talk a little bit about that. But honestly, West Haven, I think, was not received well in the community. Everyone I talked to is kind of like, and it's not just the siding, you know, it's kind of like, ugh. And what makes it even more noticeable is that it's right across the street from Parks of Whitewater, which is a development that arguably was done really nicely. You know, Mark, I think even you, from time to time, said you inherited this project from Ryan, and they did a poor job with it. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but something to that effect. You didn't really want to take full responsibility for it. So our question tonight is, what's going to be different about this from Oakland Hill? We heard from a council member, and I'm not going to get into names here, but kind of shrugged his shoulders and said, I don't think any of us knew what West Haven was going to look like. Well, okay, that's a gimme. People make mistakes, and that can happen once, but that shouldn't happen twice. And Shannon Hammonds, even though he's not here, Shannon told a member of our group, we'll never have another West Haven. I don't know really what he meant by that, but I think there was certainly concern in Harrison City zoning, city council, about the outcome of this development. And we're trying to keep it from happening again. But what we have to ask ourselves, two-story, right? Close to the road, right? Various shades of gray. We're not seeing any brick or any kind of other kind of thing that is gray. And landscaping seems to be very similar to West Haven. So our question is this going to look just like West Haven? We get into that second. Now, in fairness to Gradison and in fairness to Ryan, we went into their Whitewater Trails of Ryan Homes, and you know, maybe this is more equivalent to what the new product's going to be. You know, don't know, but again, you can see similar gray boxes, similar kind of situations in the back. I don't know with the HOA. It seems like there were a lot of swing sets, a lot of grills, a lot of things. Someone mentioned that the HOA would prohibit that. I don't know. If I spent $500,000 on a house, I'd want a swing set for my kids. So all of these things are going to be probably as they should be in the backyard. Now, what we're showing here now is the schematic, the footprint of all of the estates and of the townhomes. Kind of zoomed in on that. The estates are in kind of a pink color, and the townhomes are in gold kind of color. So, and what we're going to ask you all to do is to imagine driving down Carolina Trace. Start at the top of the hill. Look how close this first group of homes are to the road. They're right next to the road. But they're not the fronts of these houses. We're going to be seeing the backs of these houses all the way through from, I don't know exactly. It's up. December 12th, 2023, regular meeting of the Harrison Planning Commission. If we could all rise for the pledge. Okay, if we could get roll called, please.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Ms. Knock.
Here.
Mr. McMurdo.
Here.
Mr. Graff.
Here.
Mayor Nyer.
Here.
Okay, have we had a opportunity to review the minutes of the November 14th meeting?
Wilson J.W. moves to approve as printed.
I'll second.
Mr. Graff.
I'll abstain. I was absent.
Mayor Nyer.
Yay.
Mr. Wilson.
Yay.
Ms. Knock.
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo.
Yay.
Okay. On our agenda, we have as visitors Gradison Land Development, who gave a presentation as part of the public hearing. Our only new business is the Oakland Hills Development Zone change from R0 to R1 with PUD overlay preliminary plan approval. Joette, if you could hit the highlights of the staff report, please.
This case is coming before the board because all proposed zone changes with a PUD overlay are approved by Planning Commission and City Council per section 117904 of the Harrison zoning regulations. The reason for the request is the applicant is requesting approval to change the zoning on the property from R0 to R1 with a PUD res overlay. This zoning change in plan unit development designation requires approval from Planning Commission and City Council. This submission represents the preliminary development plan. Planning Commission will make a recommendation with or without stipulations to City Council for its approval or denial. The intended use of the property is Oakland Hills Development LLC is requesting the establishment of a PUD with the intent to create 243 home master plan community. Lots would consist of 116 single-family villas, 77 townhome units, 39 single-family estate home lots, and 11 custom home 1-acre lots. A PUD would allow the developer to provide a variety of sought-after home styles on lots sizes based on current market demand. The flexibility in lot sizes, setbacks, etc. would result in the development retaining the required percentage of community open space. The changes that were brought forth tonight were sidewalks have been added on Carolina Trace along the frontage south of the entry to the development, which connect to the walking path inside the development where the townhomes are located, the townhomes and the estates. The townhomes have been moved back off of the property line to make the north side of the street approximately 84 feet from the right-of-way and the south side of the street approximately 99 feet from the right-of-way. PUD language will be added to the PUD agreement in the HOA covenants that a professional management company will manage the property in the HOA. And we have that language already added to the PUD agreement, which you have. A new traffic study was completed by Gradison Development and warranted turn lanes headed north into each side of the development. The layout of those improvements you have seen here tonight. And I believe that is all of the changes. There are some stipulations. All signage throughout the community would be reviewed and approved by the Building and Zoning Department. All trees, shrubs, and ground cover specific plants will be reviewed by the Harrison Tree Board and approved by the Building and Zoning Department according to the Harrison zoning regulations upon the development of each section of the neighborhood. All items in the attached PUD text would become part of the approved application, and any changes would require a second review by Planning Commission and City Council in the final development format. So those would be conditions added to the approval.
So I'd like to make one note where she talked about changes. Changes are categorized as significant or insignificant. Insignificant changes require only administrative approval by building and zoning, significant changes come back to the body. So an example of an insignificant change in the landscape plan, if they change from an acceptable species A to an acceptable species B, administrative approval. If they want to change how one of the major components, number of homes or townhomes, increase or decrease, they need to come here for that approval. I don't think it'd be hard to approve a decrease, but if it was an increase, then they'd have to come in, justify that increase, and it could be difficult to get that approval. They still have to maintain all of the underlying requirements of the zone while getting the give and take that was referred to during the PUD process. So a small minor change is not going to come to this body. Only major significant changes that change the overall aspect of the PUD.
I'll make those changes that you noted in the staff report.
I just want to, so that if you see a change and you don't see it come here, you would understand that it was an administratively approved change, and there would be a record of that process.
Did the zoning board have any recommendation?
The zoning board reviewed the application and feel that it fits with the zoning as it's laid out in the Harrison zoning regulations.
Any questions or comments?
We should have a motion before you have discussion. You're supposed to have a motion before you have discussion.
Well, I appreciate the front door project, everything they've come to us with. That
I
was
don't think
cute.
he's joking.
But I also appreciate the patience of Mark Redison and the developers. But since everything fits within our zoning, I'm going to recommend approval of the project. That's my motion.
And I will second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion. So now we can have discussion.
Any discussion?
I'm good.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here, but as it stands, the Gradison has come in on, actually they've overpromised what we are required in this zoning with the PUD that we've, they've been accommodating and added, if a lot of the people who are in the back, you guys do not realize how hard, of a job this is, and it's easy to, criticize the people who are here, but, I didn't receive suggestions. Yes, we did from the front door project, but, like specific things to ask for, like I did during the working,
Session.
no, during the working session. This has been very difficult on all of us, and we appreciate you all coming. We hope that we have enough, to protect this area, to make it look good. These guys have come in and well, what we are going by is what it is zoned and what we are required to have in that zoning. And whether or not we like it.
Mr. Chairman, I call for a question on the motion.
So I have one comment before we vote. I've been on this board for 22 years, either as a council representative or as the mayor. My very first meeting, we had a very first PUD in the city was approved. Our attorney was here. There were a lot of misconceptions, and one of the things he stated is that property rights by the owner are primary in Ohio. They have a right as a property owner to develop it within those zoning regulations as are on the books. What you want, what you like, what you prefer doesn't matter if they meet the code. You're negligent if you don't approve a development that comes in that meets that code. I've tried to uphold that the entire time I've been here. I've asked for a lot of things, I've requested a lot of things, but if it's not in the code, I have no teeth to put enforcement there. That was during the very first PUD that we ever had in the city. The law director sat right there and gave this board instruction because we had a fuller house than this, and people were misunderstood. They thought PUD meant subsidized housing. After that all got cleared up, an hour and a half into the meeting, you would have thought that somebody said fire because the room emptied out except for 5 people, I think, and the board in the front. But he sat there and instilled something that I can remember to this day, that you can ask for anything you want. You can only require what's in your code. And if you don't like your code, change it. We've talked about that multiple times. If you don't like what the code says as a resident, you come to one of the council members, you come to one of the board members up here, start the process of getting the code amended. First step taken 2018 was this comprehensive plan. Nobody's championed those changes yet to bring them into the code. So that's one of the things that I, for 22 years, have kept in my mind, is that as a person on this board, as a member of council, and as the mayor, you have 2 things to do. You represent the residents, but you protect the residents also by serving the interest of the city, by enforcing the laws on the books, the regulations on the books. If I don't, I'm negligent, and I shouldn't hold this seat. I couldn't hear you. So the reason that there were no's is because we were still working, trying to get more in the give and take negotiation. And so we can do that as long as we want. And if the board members up here feel that they've got what is the limit of what they're going to receive, they have a duty to approve what's on the books if it meets it. So if we go infinitely on not recommending and they're meeting the code, my fear is that they'll come back and ask for a straight R1. We lose everything we've gained when we go to the standard zone book, and nobody here, nobody up here, nobody on council, until the regulations change, can enforce any of that. Berms go away, all the landscaping gets reduced. Homes can be much closer to the street, much closer to walking fern. The density changes. You just follow the book. There's no give and take in that process. So we were at the work session, we discussed a lot of different things. There were 4 new things that were brought to the table that were brought in. I don't think that the traffic was a concession. That was something that the traffic study drove. So 3 of the items: the moving of the townhomes back, the connectivity with the walking trail, and I forget the 3rd one, were new things that are not requirements in the code, that they've conceded to put that in there to improve the overall aspect of the project. So I just want people to understand that there's a certain level at which you can expect that concessions to go back and forth. Just like in a union negotiation, at some point, there's either a lockout or a walkout, or there's an agreement.
Probably about 20 years ago, we had Walmart try to come in here.
We did.
Overwhelmingly told us
So-
that we didn't want that.
And
Now we've got the same thing there, and
so,
they threatened to sue us then too.
so
And we had people that had backbone that
and
stuck with
on Walmart, we ended up in court. In Walmart's situation, we ended up in court, and the court directed how that property would be developed. They created a new zone for us called B2. The only reason that it didn't develop as B2 is because Walmart left. They voluntarily left. They could have developed that property and it would have been B2, which is mixed use, commercial and residential. And the court did, in my opinion, a terrible job of defining a B2 zone. They told us what it was gonna be, and you're gonna zone that B2, and Walmart has a right to develop it. That was after the residents group went through a referendum, and Walmart and we went into court. That's what came back out of that. I think the courts do a horrible job of zoning, a horrible job of determining what a zone should look like. That's not their job. But they told us it's gonna be B2. Since then, because the property's all changed hands, we've eliminated the B2 zone out of our zoning code because we don't want mixed residential and commercial units on the same parcel. We don't want to be able to build more than one commercial unit on one commercial parcel. And that's what B2 allowed. So that's a risk. If we deny this and we do get sued, we could have the court dictate all the terms and conditions. And it could be something that we love, it could be something that we hate.
We're okay with that, as long as you represent us.
So
You're voting right now, and we're all watching.
that's,
Then we'll be at city council, and that 8% will come here.
that's,
So we'll have
That's fine.
1,000 people- we'll have 1,000
That's fine.
people at city council.
that's fine. So I want to let you know what types of burdens these people, myself included, have up here.
Well, our thought is nothing has changed and nothing we should take.
Okay.
The vote was 4-1 last time, and it's not gonna be that this time.
So, did anybody else have a comment?
I have a question. We have
So-
enough with all these houses that are going in on Edgewood, all these houses that are now being proposed here. Do we have enough of our schools, are they already?
Ask the school district that. I have no control of the schools, none whatsoever.
And how can we have all this other people coming to this community and not be able to have the schools in one place? Are we not already filled capacity now, the schools?
I talked to the president of our school board down in his office, and I said, whose fault is it that when those schools were built, that they weren't large enough, that they were only capacity when they were completed? And I'm sorry, I thought I was gonna finish my statement. And when I talked to him, he admitted, he said that was our fault. He said, the reason being that the state allowed X amount of dollars for the future growth, and they said if you want a larger building, you'll have to increase your school levy and get that passed to do it. And he said that was their fault, because they didn't ask for enough money. I'm just talking to the president of the school board. They'd have to put a levy on to get more money. To get more money for the growth they thought they would have, they would have had to have a larger levy,
And they didn't
and
think
they
it would
chose not
pass.
to do that.
So, but we're beyond public comment at this point. We need to get into
Yep.
the business.
Yeah, that's, I'd like to call for the vote on the motion that's before us.
And the motion is to recommend approval to city council.
We have a
Yeah.
motion and
Yes.
second.
We have a motion and second. Mr. McMurdo?
Nay.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Graff?
Yay.
Mayor Nyer?
Yay.
Mr. Wilson?
Yay.
Ms. Knock?
Yay.
Motion approved.
Congratulations. Any other items?
So, I'd like to thank the members of the Plan Commission for the years that they've served. My term is up at the end of this year.
I can't hear you because of the noise.
Could we still have we have to finish our meeting. Could we please keep it quiet?
So, I'd like to tell each of the resident volunteers that serve on this commission, thank you for the years of service that you served at my request. I hope that you continue for the new mayor, and I wish you all the best in the new year. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you for all the service you've done for the city of Harrison in the last number of years you've been involved, especially here on the planning commission with us. Thank you very much for the help.
Thank you, Jerry.
I concur.
Thanks, and great job.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
I've
I'd like
learned a
to
lot.
make a motion to approve, or adjourn.
Adjourn.
I'll second it.
Mr. Graff?
Yay.
Mayor Nyer?
Yay.
Mr. Wilson?
Yay.
Ms. Knock?
Yay.
Mr. McMurdo?
Yay.
Meeting adjourned.